You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Feel like who art ed?
Try to slice it.
Who art ed? Mr. Wood art ed me.
Good. Either way, it's ambiguous. It works on so many levels.
I know.
That's off to a great start.
Welcome to Who Arted, weekly art history for all ages. I'm your host, Kyle Wood, and today we're looking at Thomas Hart Benton. Thomas Hart Benton was born on April 15th, 1889 in Neosho, Missouri. He grew up in a prominent political family. His great-uncle, also named Thomas Hart Benton, was one of the first U.S. senators from Missouri, and his father was a lawyer and U.S. congressman. With this family background, it's no wonder he had a deep connection to American history and a strong sense of regional identity, and these themes would heavily influence his art. From a young age, Benton showed a knack for drawing and an independent spirit. Despite his father's hopes that he would follow in the family's legal and political footsteps, Benton was more interested in art. He used his talent for capturing human figures and narratives to draw cartoons for local newspapers. At the age of 17, he decided to enroll at the Corcoran Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. This was a major step, making a formal commitment to pursue arts professionally. His time there was relatively brief, but it provided a foundation he could build off of. In 1909, Benton moved to Paris, which, for Western artists in the early 20th century, that was essentially the capital of the art world. He studied at the Académie Julienne and immersed himself in avant-garde movements like Cubism. He experimented with different styles, focusing on abstract forms and the expressive use of color. While he was honing his skills dabbling in modern art, he would eventually reject abstract art in favor of a more representational style. When he returned to the United States in 1912, Benton initially struggled to find his artistic voice. He continued to experiment with modern styles, but he felt growingly disconnected from them. With the outbreak of World War I, he served in the U.S. Navy as a camoufleur. He would later say that during this period, he was observing the industrial landscape and the lives of ordinary people working in shipyards, and that brought him closer to the American experience. After the war, Benton became increasingly disillusioned with European modernism and abstract art. He felt they were too detached from the realities of American life. He began to advocate for a distinctively American art form, one that depicts the lives, landscapes, and history of the U.S. This would become the cornerstone of regionalism. In the 1920s and 30s, Benton emerged as a leading figure in the American regionalist movement, alongside artists like Grant Wood. He and the other regionalists rejected the perceived elitism of European art and instead focused on realistic portrayals of rural American life, often with a sense of nostalgia and social commentary. Benton often depicted scenes of farming, labor, and small-town life, celebrating the resilience and character of ordinary Americans. His unique style, often described as muscular realism, made his art instantly recognizable. He also became a prolific muralist, believing that art should be accessible to the public and integrated into everyday life rather than confined to museums. His large-scale murals in public buildings like the Missouri State Capitol and the New School for Social Research in New York brought his art to a wide audience and solidified his reputation as a chronicler of American history and culture. Despite this success, though, Benton remained a controversial figure. His strong opinions and outspoken criticism of art critics and other artists often led to very public disputes. He was a vocal advocate for his artistic vision and fiercely defended the importance of depicting American themes and narratives. And that's why today we're looking at, America Today by Thomas Hart Benton. This monumental mural cycle was completed in 1931. It's arguably one of Benton's most significant achievements and a perfect example of American regionalism. The work consists of 10 panels, all of them egg tempera on linen mounted on board, and each panel varying in size, but together they all create a panoramic view of American life during the Great Depression. The overall effect is immersive, designed to surround the viewer with this dynamic visual narrative. The panel depicts a wide range of American scenes, from bustling city life and industrial activity to rural landscapes and agricultural labor. We see steelworkers, farmers, coal miners, cowboys, and jazz musicians. And all of this is done in Benton's signature style of elongated, muscular figures and the swirling, dynamic compositions that draw the eye from one scene to the next. The mural was commissioned by the New School for Social Research in New York City. It's an ambitious attempt to capture the diverse fabric of American society during a period of immense social change and hardship. Each panel can be interpreted as a microcosm of different aspects of American life. Steel portrays the labor and machinery of industry, while Deep South shows the backbreaking work of people picking cotton. But this mural isn't just a collection of independent scenes. They're all interconnected into a broader narrative. The figures and elements often flow from one panel to the next, creating a sense of unity and a shared experience despite the vast differences in the environments. Interestingly, Benton included himself and family members in the mural, giving it another layer of sort of authentic connection between the artist and the experience he's trying to convey. We can see him standing behind a worker in the construction panel, and his wife Rita is shown as a dancer in the City Activities with Dance Hall panel. Now, America today is aesthetically pleasing. It's well painted, the compositions are interesting and dynamic, but of course we also have to talk about the symbolism of the work. When I look at a piece like this, I see a lot of connections to the work of, say, like Diego Rivera, as we see working class figures representing the backbone of the nation. Benton gives us this heroic portrayal of labor, highlighting their strength and perseverance. The machinery and industrial landscapes symbolize the progress and modernity, but also the potential for economic upheaval. Even in moments of apparent leisure, like the jazz scene, there's an underlying sense of the struggles faced by ordinary Americans. Benton's use of swirling lines and undulating forms can be seen as a visual metaphor for the constant motion and change of American life, as well as the tumultuous economic times. And of course, the mural itself could be seen as a giant symbolic act, and I do mean giant. It's absolutely massive, but by working in this representational style, Benton is directly rejecting the European artistic trends, highlighting his belief in the importance of American themes and subjects. America Today not only solidified Thomas Hart Benton's position as a leading figure of the American Regionalist movement, but it also became a powerful visual document to the Great Depression era. It demonstrated that American artists could create large-scale, impactful works that spoke directly to the experiences of their own people without relying on European models. The mural's emphasis on ordinary Americans and their daily lives helped to define a new direction for American art. Today, it's housed in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, where it continues to inspire and inform viewers about a pivotal period in American history and the enduring legacy of one of its most distinctive artists.
This concludes this week's episode of Who Arted, part of the Airwave Media Podcast Network. If you found this tolerable, please leave a rating or review on your favorite podcast app. You can find images of the work being discussed this week and every week on social media at Who Arted Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and of course on the website whoartedpodcast.com. Podcast done.